So we are going to watch the Jstlk and Mr. Girl conversation from the other night. I didn't think this would ever happen, frankly. I thought Mr. Girl would just see Jstlk as like the abuse outsourcing stream for DGG. I thought that's how Mr. Girl would see it and wouldn't want to participate. I guess I was wrong. I guess he does see Jstlk as a bit more distinct from Destiny and DGG. So Mr. Girl went on to discuss his tweets about the Valorant, or well, both of their tweets, both Jstlk and Mr. Girl's tweets, about the Valorant R threats, R joke discourse, where some Aussie guy said to a woman, do you know what it feels like to get R'd? And she seemed to get a bit upset by it, shut off and quit the game. Now, bit of extra context is that before that, she'd already muted that guy and then unmuted him to try and farm content. She says, I'm going to farm content. I think this game's over. So there is a bit of extra context there. It's a bit of a complicated situation. A lot of spirited argument over whether that sort of toxicity should be allowed or not. I think obviously Jstlk is going to be more pro-toxicity here, and Mr. Girl is going to be more anti-toxicity. Thank you for the 5 gifted, Spudgun. Thank you, thank you. That's a great point, actually. Guys, remember to like, subscribe, donate, buy membership, buy super chat if you can. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. Let's get into this. I'm going to grab a bottle of water. Just 1 second.
I'm getting, I think we're going to have... Sweet. Let's see here. Looking to get him on the call here as soon as possible. Okay. He's in the Discord. Let's move him in. Move to this room. Hello.
Hey.
How's it going, man?
Okay. How are you?
Pretty good. About as good as I've been since I lost my YouTube a couple weeks ago, actually. Things are starting to look up.
First time?
So. First time!
Yeah. Well, welcome to the club.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah. Sucks. What'd you get banned for? I saw it was harassment or something.
Yeah, okay, I'm here.
Yeah, it was the harassment policy. I'm not totally sure what it was. I think I could talk about it more after. I'm trying to keep it like close to the vest. I think it was like a mistake from like a video that got uploaded. I think it was like
yourself?
Well, no. What I think happened was I can't talk about it too much. But yeah, I think it was like a video that mistakenly got uploaded a couple times and had like a violation in it, but it's not like me violating something. It's like something that happened on the screen, and then I basically denounce it. And I think just it was just like, no, this is really bad, and yeah, so it counted as like multiple strikes, and yeah, it is what it is.
So you'll probably get unbanned.
I think so. I talked to some people who were like very experienced, and they said like, yeah, I'm pretty confident you'll get unbanned for this eventually. Yeah, so hopefully it works out. You never know though, because
The thing is that Jstlk's ban is like kind of bullshit from what I can tell, but it's bullshit because like, should that really be 3 strikes? Like, that seems fucking retarded. But Mr. Girl's ban is like actually bullshit because the video he got banned for had been taken off of YouTube and then reinstated after an appeal and then left on for like 2 years. So they'd manually said, this video is okay, this video is fine, and then you got immediately banned for it.
It's like I'm a small channel, and they could easily just look at some of the other content, which is
YouTube changed their mind, cope and see. What? So you get immediately banned for having a video on your channel that they said explicitly was okay to be on the channel. That is total bullshit. That is total bullshit. You can say it, you can hate him because he went after your shit, obviously, DK, but you know that's total bullshit. You know that's total bullshit.
like I have quite a bit of content that's probably pretty close to the line. And they could look at the rest of it and just say,
Where's
like,
my back?
screw this guy. So you never know.
The first time I got banned, I appealed twice and got rejected. And then 4 months later,
YouTube found out Max was Jewish and immediately nuked his channel. Haven't you read the report? True, he did end it with YouTube banned me because I was Jewish. Yeah.
they just randomly unbanned me. So,
Oh, interesting.
yeah, you never know.
And then, so have you been?
Well, Quello, that was his second channel. That was his second channel that they unbanned and then rebanned. I don't think the main channel ever got actually unbanned.
How many times have you been terminated before? I think you were terminated this last time, but did you know? There's like they could have you banned, and then there's like the straight up termination. You're gone, right?
What? Oh, I don't know. There's a difference.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of the same thing. Oh, I'm probably just thinking of strikes. I'm thinking of like strikes, like temporary bans.
Oh no. Yeah, we have.
The game
removed
solo
your
poll
channel
doesn't
from
exist
YouTube,
anymore. That's not a thing.
4 times now.
Oh Jesus, yeah, that's rough.
The last one's
YouTube, if you're watching, Kuihman is Jewish, but he's
tough.
one of the good ones.
It's a
Please
tough
no
one.
ban.
It's a tough rap to beat.
Yeah, I've got a guy in my Discord who's having something similar happen where he was like, he's just trying to have. I don't know if he's a fan of yours. Like he struck me as somebody who was like trying to be honest about some like experiences he's had earlier in his life, where like I think he was in a rural area and he met this girl when they were like both younger, and then I think they ended up hooking up when he was 20 and she was 17. But then he told this story, and now everybody just calls him a pedophile. And it's like, because he met the girl when she was like 14 or something, and he was 17,
man.
I think. And so they're like, oh, you're a groomer. It's like, bro, I don't know. It's weird when like people, I don't know. It seems to me like sometimes people just need to get in a mob on others to like make themselves feel
I said
safe.
a bunch of 11-year-olds were hot, and then I made a song about it. So I don't.
It's not quite the same thing.
It's a little different. The chat's saying that I'm quiet. I don't know if you.
I
care.
turned you up a little bit because I was looking at the levels and you seem quiet.
What, guys? You don't like Wolfgang's talk animations? What? Guys, what? You don't like Wolfgang's art? Wolfgang worked really hard. Guys, can you be nice to Wolfgang's art, please? He worked really hard on that stuff. Guys, stop being mean about Wolfgang's art. Okay, thank you. He's a very hard worker. Okay.
I'm turning up a little more too. Let me see this. Just say whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Thank you. I think that looks better. That looks good to me. We'll see if anybody's gonna keep complaining about it.
Nice.
All right. Yeah. So I messaged you. I sent you my tweet, right? I should pull it up on screen for people. I had like a pretty over the line tweet. I think we're talking about the same thing, right?
Why are you shitting on it? You're two-faced. Well, I would never. Wolfgang works really hard, Kenny. Shitting on people's work isn't good. It's not a very nice thing to do.
Rape threats.
The rape threat. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a tweet that was a little over the line. Find that.
You said she's asking for it.
I did. Unfortunately, this picture.
Draw goody, you greasy chomo. What?
Does not have other stuff here. So there's this picture. This tweet, and unfortunately, when you get quote tweeted, this is what people see, right? And then I have a reply under this that says, like, obviously, rape threats aren't okay. I don't wish for her to get raped, but like, I think she deserves to get banned. But I didn't have it in the main tweet, so everybody like quote tweets me.
Well, yeah,
and the funny...
I don't think you should do that. I think you should just you gotta hit him with the hot sauce if that's what you want to do. You can't say no. There's a little cup of milk below this tweet. Just drink that. That's not. You shouldn't do that.
No.
I gotta say,
don't think so.
Jstlk is being very. You're gonna make that tweet. You gotta stand on it. It's not good. It's not
No,
good.
I think you gotta give it to him straight. Like you're trying. See, this is what I was saying in my tweet about it. I was saying that you're intentionally triggering people, and then you're like trying to walk it back at the same time. So you want all the benefits of people saying, "Oh, he just said this really offensive thing," but then you want to be like, "But seriously, folks, rape is bad."
Sure. So I wanted to say, so what I'm trying to say there is she was asking for it,
Yeah.
as in she was asking for something to happen, which I think is unequivocally true. She wanted
Yeah.
something like bad to happen. I like fully stand behind that. Now, could she have any idea that it was going to be like a rape threat, or like specifically that kind of rape threat that sort of like slow played it until she was, you know, kind of overwhelmed? No,
Yeah.
obviously not. And that doesn't make it okay. But I don't know if you saw some of the other clips from the stream. I've actually got the whole stream now. And like she is
She wanted it.
explicitly stating that she unmuted him, so she had him muted. He was being, I think, slightly sexist. It's kind of up to interpretation. So she makes a call in the first round of the game. The guy immediately goes, "Oh fuck," and like, so you
The
could debate
phrasing on
whether that's
that
because
message, the
she's
phrasing on
a
this message
female voice
is
or
wild.
there's something
What's this
else.
in-
I think it's sad that any woman that decides to participate in shit talk has to expect empty rape threats. So if they okay,
we can assume
if they want empty,
Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair.
Okay.
So she immediately mutes him, right? And then she unmutes him multiple times throughout the match in order to, like, I guess, I don't know, it seems like for content. Or actually, she unmutes him once. Could turn Mr. Girl up more? Okay, hold on.
I can turn myself up too if you want.
Yeah, do you want to turn yourself up a little bit? I got you up quite a bit.
Yeah, sure. Hey. This is my murmur. I think I peak if I get excited, so I gotta ride the line here because I'm gonna freak out at some point.
is the Stardust video essay good? Oh yeah, I saw she posted a video essay. Oh, she's got a premiere going. An anti-Frogan video essay. Oh man. Oh man, that's huge. That's epic. Oh, whoops, wrong one.
Point during this conversation, I can already tell. So
Yeah.
I'll ride the gain. And I'll take care of it. I got
Here,
you.
I'll turn you up just a little bit too.
Okay.
See, now I want to go over some of that, but I shouldn't. No, let's stay on track. Let's stay on track.
I think that should be good.
Cool.
Okay. So anyway, so she unmutes him. She's also tilted going into the game. Like she was already tilted. She talked about at the beginning of the stream, which is about an hour before this happened, how she just deranked and she was like on tilt basically. So she's already a little tilted going into the game. And round one, like she mutes the guy when she makes the call and he's an asshole. And then she gets killed like almost immediately. And how do we have a face already? Because we knew this was gonna happen. Irrelevant. And Wolfgang is a magician.
Damn. Hey, irrelevant. All these people are here. That's crazy. You guys are all on Kick.
Well, Relly is. Relly and Darius did a lot of content on Kick together because Darius can't be on Twitch. So I think Relly by osmosis ended up going over to Kick and recently there. So hold on. I was at the so she mutes him, and then after she gets killed, she goes, "Oh, you know, fuck it. I'm gonna unmute this guy for the content because I think we lost anyway." And she unmutes him, right?
Yeah.
And then, so basically, then after that, he's a little sexist on and off. He's just being an asshole, and she's bantering back and forth with him. And then, like, they're continued to lose, continue to banter back and forth, and then eventually, it gets to that point. Not that far later, I think 2 or 3 rounds later is where it gets to the actual, like, do you know what rape feels like comment?
Okay, when you say they bantered back and forth, was she like, "I'm gonna rape you, you fucking"?
Nope, nothing
bitch.
at that scale.
And then
Nope.
Okay,
She obviously didn't escalate to that scale since that's about as high as it gets.
No, but how did you make the
Yeah,
Aussie sound worse? I thought that was pretty accurate, no?
But did she escalate?
She didn't escalate to that level. It was like completely disproportionate.
What's the word? Okay, so we don't have to. So
no,
you're not arguing.
No. I'm not arguing
so
that it was a proportionate response or that his actions were okay.
but you think rape is okay. No. So your argument is that she entrapped him.
Nope. Not even entrapped him. My argument is basically that she was walking down the street and she saw a homeless drug addict who was like out of his mind and ranting at people.
Great. Okay,
And instead
great.
of-
We're already getting into rape analogies. Let's go. I mean, I suppose it is kind of about rape. So it's just like it's just very, very typical.
Crossing
isn't
the
it?
street, which is maintaining the mute or muting and then maintaining the mute. She was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm bored, so I'm actually going to walk over and start talking to this guy, and then start
He's
like
gonna punch me in the
making
face,
fun of
and
him."
then
And then, well, no, she didn't know that, but I feel obviously she didn't know that.
well, but she wanted him to.
Nope, she didn't want him to. She wanted to have something exciting happen. She knew, so she had
Well, that's
probably some.
Oh shit! Just saw the talking animations on the avatars. That's really cool. Who did that artwork? Wolfgang, I believe. Wolfgang Schurig.
And threatening to rape you is the most exciting thing.
You're looking for commissions.
Not my point.
I mean, what do you say?
obviously.
I mean, that, okay, you
Yeah,
don't think she
Wolfgang.
wanted him to say something like that?
I think she wanted him to be an asshole, be a sexist asshole that she could laugh about, and then I think
That's Wolfgang that did those talking animations. Yeah, the really cool talk. Yeah, they did the really cool, great artwork, the great talking animations. Yeah.
comment actually triggered her into like being quite upset and leaving the game. But I think she was looking for him to be a misogynist.
This is weird. I feel like
too.
we're reversing positions. I think that she wanted him to say that.
We are kind of reversing positions.
Yeah, because
I
she
It's
don't-
really good eyes.
She
Cool
got the
art.
response she
He
wanted.
worked really hard
and
on it.
left the game, put it on Twitter, and then got the exact thing she wanted, which is like 100,000 likes and quote tweets and everything. Us talking about it. This is what she wanted.
Okay, is that I can't tell if you're making fun of me or if you're being serious.
I'm not
right now.
making fun of you.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I believe you. So
Thank you.
I don't think so because I got the full stream in the full resolution, and I do believe she's about to cry when she leaves. Like I think she flips her screen off because she is. I think you can't really see it at the resolution of the clip, but when you see it in full screen, like in HD, I guess it seems to me like she probably is about to cry. So I don't know if she I think she was already emotional trading barbs back and forth with them. You know how you can like. It's not necessarily that.
I just don't understand how you're getting to the point. Like you're in a video game arguing with someone, and you are getting to the point of tears on a live stream. How sensitive do you have to be? It seems crazy. I mean, maybe there are people that are like this, but I don't.
That you're feeling like distraught, but like you just get emotional. I think this happens to. I don't know what this feels like. I think this happens to women more than men, where they just get emotional, like angry and upset, and then that's like starting to do tears. So I think that's kind of what was happening, and she just killed the stream.
Well, I just think that maybe if you're the type to, get to the point of tears over talking shit with someone, you should probably mute people when they start talking shit and not unmute them to farm content. That's just, that'd be my advice. She asked him multiple times to say it. Say what?
So I don't know if I think she wanted something to happen, something disproportionate from him, and yeah, probably for clout, for funniness, for content. But I don't know if she actually wanted him to go that far.
Okay, so your position is she wanted him to say something that she could clip.
Oh yeah, true. She kept going.
And
Are you threatening to rape me? Are you threatening to rape me? Didn't she? Oh man, come on. She wasn't fucking about to
say this guy is such an abusive asshole.
Come on.
But then he said something that went over the line of what she was comfortable with. He actually successfully trolled her. She thought that he was gonna just say some,
go back to the kitchen, stupid bitch.
Yeah, make me
like
a
that.
sandwich. But then he actually genuinely triggered her.
I believe so. Is my interpretation.
Yeah, no, I don't believe that. That's cap. Pull up. Where's this clip? Where's this fucking clip?
You are literally just fucking all talk, bro.
Oh, be honest with me.
My ult's ready.
Do you know what rape feels like?
No, I don't actually.
Well, do you want to know?
Are you saying you're gonna rape me?
Because you're heading on the right
Yeah,
path right
come
now.
on.
Are you saying you're gonna rape me?
You're going on the right path for it.
Is that what you're saying?
Toxins going up.
It's not rape if I like it. Is it now?
Is it now?
Hectic goal.
Yeah, this is like I don't believe Jstlk's read here. I don't believe Jstlk's read here. This is a weird, it's weird behavior.
You are literally just fucking all talk, bro.
Oh, be honest with me.
My ult's ready.
Do you know what rape feels like?
No, I don't actually.
Well, do you want to know?
Are you saying you're gonna rape me?
Because you're heading on the right path right now.
Are you saying you're gonna rape me?
You're going on the right path for it.
Is that what you're saying?
Toxins going up.
It's not rape if I like it. Is it now? Hectic goal.
I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. I don't buy that one bit. No. I reject this framing. No, I don't think she was upset.
Okay, I think I agree.
It's not
with you.
rape.
Okay, so, all right, so
fucking Aussies, man.
we have that.
Yeah.
And then we have, what does it mean?
Yeah, what does it mean? So when I say, well, I'll just go back to my tweet because I want to kind of defend what my tweet was trying to say. Was like she was asking for it, as in, to me it seemed like the drug addict, right? Where like she was asking for something exciting to happen. She was like bored. She went to go fuck with this guy, and then he pulled out a knife and stabbed her in the hip, right? And it's like, okay, well, she obviously doesn't deserve to get stabbed. Like I would never make that argument. And yet, like I have a hard time feeling quite as sorry for her as I would if it had just happened out of the blue. Which I think is pretty reasonable. And that was what I was like, I was trying to do it in two parts. And yes, probably talking to both sides of my mouth, get to say the offensive thing and then, you know, wheel it back to something somewhat reasonable.
Yeah.
Sure. I actually, yeah, that was absolutely what I was trying to do. To get conversations.
Okay. To get conversations.
I think, like, my goal was basically, I was hoping I could get a couple people
Jstlk's
to join VC
bent
and
over on
basically
this.
be like,
This is,
you're a crazy fuck, and then I could make this argument.
So
But
you
what
can
actually
walk it
happened,
back.
yeah, walk it back a little bit. Make it seem like less insane. I've seen this strategy deployed by other people, okay? To somewhat good effect.
Yeah, I think we all have.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so that was what I was going for, but then what ended up happening was I just got a bunch of quote tweets where people are like, so you're just a rapist then? She was asking for it. Oh, you're just a rapist then. You just enjoy
Yeah,
rape.
I
You
think
just are a rape enjoyer. You
Jstlk
love rape.
maybe he couldn't take the heat of the take that he gave. That's my vibe right now. That's my vibe. Because having just watched that again, like how do you interpret it that way? She's literally sitting there going, "You threatening to rape me? You threatening to rape me? You threatening to rape me?" Like, come on. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, no one acts like that. No one acts like that. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
I was like, no. But you know what? I feel like once I've gotten 20 quote tweets like that, it's probably me communicating poorly and not everybody else misunderstanding. So I deleted the tweet.
I don't think they're misunderstanding. That's the joke, is that you are like a joke like that. You're being irreverent, right? And the whole point is that you're saying I'm willing to make myself look like I'm pro rape.
Yes, but I'm hoping other people will bite and want to talk about it. And
Kenny
nobody
loves
wants to talk
women
about it
because he gets money and electronic goods out of them in Discord. Okay, that's the only reason Kenny loves women.
like, I don't want to talk to a rapist.
Okay, but for that to be funny, there has to be a contingent of people who actually think that you're pro rape, or else it's not funny.
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
The whole point.
But
the
I
whole
was
point of the
going
joke-
for like, well, just sorry, I was going for like 20% pro rape, not like 80% pro rape, and I flipped the 80-20 ratio in the wrong way.
Okay. Yeah, that can happen.
Yeah, that can happen.
It's a delicate balance.
I don't blame other people. I like blame myself for not calculating correctly.
Yeah, well, I blame you too.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so anyway, I don't even know, like I said, I might not have said this to you, but after I read your post, I was like, oh, finally somebody's like taking some stances that aren't just like virtue signals, kind of.
Yeah,
You know what
okay,
I mean?
yeah. So, well, I mean, my post is kind of virtue signaling, but I said that I've received a lot of death threats, probably more than most people who are talking about this, and I've received my fair share of sexual harassment. I
Kenny,
guess
you're
proud
always
to
coming
say.
for the bag, okay?
And so I think that there's like a dual narrative that men have about just the whole idea of like, oh, we were all having fun until women came along and started talking about their feelings.
True.
But then it's also like, oh, do men kill themselves? Men suffer more depression than anybody. Nobody has any idea how hard it is to be a man, the things we do, the things we sacrifice. And I think my view is that spaces without women or countries where women don't have equal rights suck. And men will sit around and say, oh, he's a cool dude to have a beer.
I think this falls apart because you have, in a country, everyone's kind of forced to be there, you know? A space in terms of like video games or a hobby, that's something that people choose to pick up. Or sort of like not even necessarily choose, but it's like almost developmental, if you know what I mean. And women don't seem to tend towards video games very much. So having spaces such as video games, which men tend to prefer and women don't, be generally catering towards what men want to do in those spaces, I think that's probably fine. Just like fucking, I don't know what hobbies women do, but what do women do other than eat hot chip and lie? Stick to Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley Hooers. Stardew Valley Hooers, yeah. Braid each other's hair. Get pregnant and manipulate men. No, I mean hobbies. What hobbies do women have? What hobbies do women have? Where do women spend their time? Where do women go to hang out with other women? Get your nails did, your eyelashes did. Yeah, like, okay. I can't speak to this personally. But are most nail places gonna be particularly like accommodating for just like some random fucking guy that walks in there, or is it gonna be like women talking about women shit, acting like women? I think it's probably gonna be the latter, right? I would imagine. I think that's fine, and it's fine for that to be the case. So if men want to have video games, everyone's be like, okay, we're not going to ban. Men seem to like talking shit to each other, so we're not going to ban talking shit. If you don't like it, you can tailor your experience to avoid it, but we're not going to ban it. I think that's so reasonable. No, these aren't things women do at all. The things you're saying aren't things women do. Like, I mean, they do them, but they don't. It's not like things women do. You know what I mean? Like, primarily women. Video games is primarily men, unless you take, like, the retarded stats that count mobile games. So, read books, go hiking. This is like, these aren't women things. Is Lisa considered a woman? Not anymore. I don't think. I think it changes if you're still if you're a female virgin at 40. I'm pretty sure you lose your woman card. I don't hang around with women. I don't interact with women, period. Also, I don't think women have hobbies. I've never met women with hobbies. Well, I have known them with hobbies, but they've always been like sort of superficial or like seem like they were adopted. They weren't primarily women hobbies, and the hobbies were adopted primarily, I think, to portray an image or to manipulate men or to hurt people. That's what women usually do, you know. I don't think they usually do things because they enjoy them. It just doesn't happen. Insane content. Women dead names a trans child. Hold up, when do I do that? Hold up.
Beer with, we're chill, he's my friend, we just hang out, and then the guy kills himself. And then it's just like, oh, I guess we never talked about anything. Women do talk about their feelings, and I
did not do that. Like, I did not do that. That's cap.
Seem like they're ruining all the fun, but I think it's an important thing. And when you tell someone in a video game, you call someone a racial slur, the reason it's triggering is because you're saying the word that was said when like members of their family were hit with like rocks and bats or.
Oh man, deep. Women hobbies are like writing Giga novels worth of erotic fanfic and reading pornographic books in public. So true.
Lynched,
holy fuck.
Put in a gas chamber or killed by
man,
the oppressive military of their country or whatever. You're invoking violence. You're trying to dredge up trauma. And I really don't like this idea that
Spud gun. Yes, they're not good enough because they're not stereotypical. Yes, that is literally what we're talking about. We're talking about gaming. We're talking about gaming as a male space. So we need some. I was looking for examples of female spaces. Saying hiking. How is hiking a female? How is that? How is hiking tailored to women? Explain that to me. Explain that one to me.
I mean, kind of what I was jokingly making fun of you for saying she was asking for. I don't really think it. I don't have a problem with you saying that and then walking it back. But
Okay.
I do have a problem with this idea that I'm gonna say the most upsetting possible fucking thing I can to this person. The only reason I'm saying it is because I know
I'm pretending to be retarded in chat.
genuinely
Let's
triggering
go.
this person,
Day ending
making
and
them
why.
freak out. And then afterward I say, oh, words don't hurt people. Of course they do. Of course words hurt people. That's why people watch streams. That's why people go on Twitter. That's why when you get a notification that somebody tagged you in something, you have to go see what it is, because words do hurt people. And they make people hurt themselves. And you can say, oh, well, that's your responsibility. And it's just a very it's currently a very male perspective that is just doesn't reflect reality in my experience.
Yeah, I don't think.
I mean, it's true. Obviously, I think it's retarded to say, "Oh, I've got no responsibility for upsetting someone." Well, when I say something horrible to them, because you're saying it. You're saying it to upset them. Like that's your intention. That's the outcome. Obviously, you've got responsibility for it. You're deliberately doing that. So saying, "Oh, I've got no responsibility," that's retarded. But it should still be. I think it should still be allowed. Is the point, right? And it should be everyone's responsibility whether they want to engage with it or not, and how much they want to engage with it.
You unmute this person for the content, in my opinion, in a ranked game. It feels like, yeah, the guy was trying to say something. I'm not saying she shouldn't be hurt. I'm saying that, like, you realize you're opening yourself up to being hurt, and you should probably be able to finish the game.
Wait, you deleted your...
say.
Oh, no, you deleted the tweet?
Yeah, I deleted the tweet.
Shameful.
Oh my God.
Couple complicating factors there. It was unfortunately directed at somebody who is a Twitch partner. And I don't want it to be possibly opened up for like off-platform harassment. I don't think it is, and again, I'm having like these conversations with people, but yeah, I deleted it on advice of counsel. Okay.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Listen, as long as women allow me to keep saying the N-word in video games, I will fight to keep the transes out of their DV shelters. Okay, that I feel like we can come to that agreement. We can come to that deal. But if you're coming into gaming, okay, there's going to be some invasions back. All right, that's the deal. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, so I think there's two conversations that we're having. One is about what specifically happened with her. Yeah, obviously she's fishing for I think we agree. She's fishing for content. She wants this guy to be an asshole. She wants to prove that guys are assholes in video games. The guy is an asshole, but he's more than just an asshole. He says something kind of creepy and triggering. And because she obviously has been raped. No, I'm just kidding. But for some reason it triggers her, or maybe it's just triggering to know somebody wants to trigger you, whatever. So she freaks out. And then that's its own thing. But
This girl's so based, man.
I'm also
yeah, she's been
interested in
raped.
just
Shouldn't the RB eyes on? Let's
the
go.
vicious response she got, which is not just about what happened with her, but about what she's saying. And what she's saying is that harassment in gaming, especially towards women, is a huge problem. And there's like hundreds of guys in the replies saying it's not a problem. We're just joking around, and you don't understand because you're a woman, and just like leave our space. Get the fuck out of here. And that just like doesn't resonate with me at all. I never have had the feeling of like, oh God, there's a woman in the lobby when I'm playing a game. And part of the reason is that women.
I don't know that anyone gets like that, do that. No one gets like, oh God, there's a woman. People are just like, it's more just like blood in the water, isn't it? It's just like it's easy laughs. I don't
make spaces less toxic.
I can't say I've ever thought that, but I do sort of agree with the people who have an issue. Sorry, just to disagree a little bit. I do kind of agree with the people who want to make masculine spaces, like especially hyper masculine spaces, like very competitive video games, less masculine and like worrying about feelings. I don't know. It feels like there's something there where like I really enjoyed those spaces, and yeah, they're toxic, but like the idea that women should come in and change those spaces.
Yeah, hardware bans are like so gay. I hate that shit. Yeah,
seems off-putting to me, especially when they're like not as invested.
But okay, even the idea of defining it as them coming in, like it's not like you're in a fucking nude yoga for gay and bisexual men support group and then a woman showed up. It's a fucking video game where presumably women are welcome to play. So why like it's also not like going to like a historically black college, but it's not like video games aren't made for men. There's no way in which the space is like defined as a male space. It just happens to have more men in it.
Do you believe that it's like coincidental that competitive video games have more men in them?
You're saying women are genetically inferior at video games?
I'm not.
I would say women are probably in some way might be genetically inferior at the games we make now. Yeah. Or ultimately, all games and the history of how games have been designed, they were designed by and for men. So it could be possible that you can make unisex games with which both sexes can equally perform. But that's certainly not the world we live in. The games that exist now, the games that exist now are definitely male, very much male dominated and male oriented. Well, yeah, I mean, every women's esport is dominated by trans women. Exactly, yeah.
Not saying women are, although I probably do believe that, but I actually am not saying that. Okay. What I'm saying is, I think personality-wise, women are less inclined to join hyper.
Competitive Stardew Valley isn't a thing, and even if it were, men would be better at it. Jesus, dude.
For competitive spaces, across the board, and that's probably why we see women like not really competing in things like chess or video games, is because they just don't have, like, to be honest, it's basically like a suicidal drive that some men have to be good at something. Like the people who are really great at something like chess or like video games, if you're in like the top 0.01 percentile of video game players, you're probably unemployed.
Okay, so let me understand your argument here then. You're saying women don't have a drive.
Well, he's saying that women don't get the, men will get the fixated goal and drive to excel at something and be the very best at something, but women don't get that. What is the top percent of video game players you're in? I'm in probably a pretty easy top 10. Or a pretty easy top 10. I'm actually pretty far in Sekiro right now. Actually, I'm pretty far. I'm up to what is it? Who's the boss? Who's the boss? The Genchiro, whatever his name is. The one at the top of the dojo. How far are you in Pokemon Unbound? I don't remember. Yeah, finishing games is
To play video games, competitive video games. They want to play Candy Crush.
I'd say
good at- no,
they
no,
are
no,
less
great
likely
games. What?
to be obsessed with a video game.
you're horrible at Pokemon.
And they don't want to play Valorant. But-
No, sorry, they want.
but-
Sorry, just You know what? I'll let you go. Sorry.
The thing is with Pokemon is that
Some of them do. Want
I want to have cool Pokemon. I want to have cool Pokemon. I have met Headless. Yes, I didn't kill him. I went once. I was like, oh fuck it, I'm gonna do something else. I want cool Pokemon. I just want the cool ones. I want the ones that look good, like Infernape, Sceptile. Like cool, edgy Pokemon. But you can't just do that. You have to use like ones from the recent generations because they've got like fucking 6 type combinations on them now, and they can do all these different moves. And I've got crazy stats. Fuck me, just let me use my fucking Infernape. Let me use like Gallade. Let me use Sceptile. Let me use fucking Avada. Okay, Avada. Like, the psychic one with the spoons. I can't think of his fucking name. Holy shit. Alakazam. Thank you. So I don't want to use gay Pokemon like the fucking genies from Black and White or whatever they are. Let me use Lopunny, exactly. Let me use Gardevoir. Let me use Lopunny. Let me use Gardevoir. Exactly. That's what I'm about.
to play Valorant though. So this could contradict what you're saying, that to the extent that women want to play, they do play, except I think what you're implying is they don't really want to play. They want to change it. They don't want to participate in the competitive game that exists. They somehow want to feminize it. They want to come in and put lipstick on it and ruin it. And one of the ways they ruin it is by saying, hey, you guys have to be nice.
Kinda. So I don't think women don't want to play. I think that women and men are looking for very different things when they play video games in the average case. So essentially, like in the average case, women are looking to have fun. And I think sometimes men are looking to, like, unironically, like, rape and destroy. Like, that is what men are looking to do in some cases with video games. I would say a lot of competitors are like this, where they are looking to, like, assert dominance over other people, right? And I don't think women go into video games with that mindset at all. I think it's almost completely non-existent in women in the way that it is in men, and that's why men will always be at the top of these.
I paid for the damn game. How about I collect all the ones I want to? I'm not a sicko, dude. Fuck.
Competitive spaces is because this is like their drive. They have like a personally obsessed drive to be better than other people, and I think for some reason women tend not to develop that.
Okay.
That's
and you're saying because of that. Oh, also these are statistical averages, right? That
yes.
we've all
there would be
all
women who would be like outside of this and work like function.
And then there are sissy boys who just want to play Mercy and heal their teammates.
Absolutely,
and be super helpful.
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't think playing support is necessarily the same thing, but it's reasonable metaphor.
Okay. Well, so do you think that now?
Actually, support is integral to the team's success. Support. There's nothing wrong with playing support. That's Jstlk right now. That's Jstlk.
If this is just a statistical average, do you think that men who are sensitive, like me, who don't enjoy a toxic atmosphere, and who don't have the death drive to destroy everything and everyone and rape everyone, do you think that they are ruining Valorant by playing? Are they invading the space, or
It's not that it's not about. Well, I mean, I don't know what Jstlk's arguing, but for me, it's not about women can't play video games. It's just don't change all the rules. Don't bring in a bunch of fucking restrictions that make it so it's easier for women to, or like it's nicer for women to play video games. Either learn to deal with it as it is, use the tools that are available to avoid the problem, or don't play. Don't come in and say, okay, this is how it has to be. It has to be done in a way that makes me feel okay with being here. And I understand it's probably the way it'll go, no matter what, because it's just the way markets work. But it's very painful. It's very painful, and I wish women could just get over it. But it's not going to happen.
are they grandfathered in because they have a dick, and the dick signifies a statistical likelihood that they are okay with the current culture, even if they're not?
No, I'd say they're ruining the space. Not ruining. It's just that, like, I think these games basically survived for a long time and became popular through a certain crowd, which is the destroy, dominate crowd. And now that culture's there. I'm not saying it like has to stay, but it seems like sometimes it feels like there are steps taken to get rid of it when it's like, you know what? I don't think that it's necessarily bad that people can play these feelings out in a virtual environment. And like I don't think it's necessarily bad that we have these kinds of environments that are hyper masculine and like these crazy dominant environments online. I don't necessarily think that's bad.
But I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just trying to figure out how you're defining it as women invading a male space if you're also saying that men are invading it if they're sensitive.
I don't know if I'm defining it as women invading a male space. It seems like that. Like that is what it looks like. But then you ask me like, oh, would the men be ruining it too if they were sensitive and like trying to
I mean,
if they were people
I'm literally on Twitter, I'm complaining about the exact same thing she is, right? I'm saying that
Sure. So I would say
what I'm saying is probably more critical of men than even what she said. I said that men need women in their spaces or they get depressed, don't talk about their feelings and kill themselves, or are toxic, rape each other, abuse each other. Basically, if you tell me, I don't even know what it is, if it's a game, if it's a organization, a company, you tell me it's all male, and then you tell me there's an identical thing, you don't even know what you're signing up for, but there's an identical one that's 50% women, I'm going to choose the 50% women one every time, I don't even care, across the board, whatever it is.
Oh, yeah, see, I would say the exact opposite for competitive video games. But that's
okay.
and here's the thing: let's say you could hypothetically split Valorant, you could mirror it, maybe just split the player base, not by skill or anything, just by gender, and you have one group that's 50% male, 50% female, and you have another group same size that's 100% male. Which, if you had to pick 5 of the 5 best players from each of those groups, Do you think the 50% men, 50% women group would beat the 100% men group in any maps, any games?
The men would win.
Well, I think it's not even the men. I would say probably, in my opinion, probably the 50% male, 50% female group. The best 5 players would be men, but it wouldn't matter that they're men. It's not the sex. It's not their sex they were born with that makes them better.
But you can have matchmaking. I mean, skill-based matchmaking, right? I'm sure Valorant does. I never played it, but
Yeah.
I assume it does. Okay, so then what's the problem?
I think the drive, the competitive drive in that other environment is just going to drive people to be like more obsessive and better at the game overall.
So you're saying that women are ruining the space because even if they're not playing at the top echelon of players, just by being in the lower ranks, they're reducing the male drive to be
They're
the best.
trying to change
ever?
the culture that leads to the best outcomes.
Which is people calling each other racial slurs and saying they're going to rape each other.
Kind of. I don't necessarily think those people should be allowed to do that, but I'm saying that like overall
But
being
if they're
hypercritical of
not
this
allowed
and
to
trying
do
to
it,
make
but if
sure.
they're- But we've seen for a decade or more with Call of Duty lobbies that if there aren't women there, they are allowed to do that. Like men
Yeah,
not being allowed
sure.
to. I don't even get what you're saying now. You're saying you don't think men should. Why shouldn't they be allowed to do that? If you're saying that it's about brutality and hatred, then why can't they call each other?
I think it's more
slurs
about like
and-
dominance and being the best. But I think those end up displaying as like kind of similar things.
Yeah, well, I hope so, because that's like the argument you're making. I mean, the whole conversation started to be about a guy telling a woman he's going to rape her, and then
Yep.
you're saying
I'm not saying that
women-
that's good, by the way. I'm still not saying that.
But
that's
you
good.
are, well, you kind of are. Is my point. You're saying that he shouldn't say that, but it should be okay for him to say that because that's just like what happens when you get the competition boner. It's just so big and hard. Then you're going to say you're going to rape a woman, and and women coming in and complaining about it and being hurt by this, or sensitive men such as myself coming in and complaining about it, being hurt by it, speaking out against it, actually ruins the sport. So it feels like what you're really saying is that it's like fighting in hockey, where yeah, you're not supposed to do it, but actually you are.
I think it's a
against
part
the
of the
rules,
culture, and it is against. That's probably a pretty good analogy. It's against the
Saying-
rules,
yeah,
but
thank
it's
you.
not
saying it's,
really
saying
against
it's part
the
of the
rules.
culture. Okay,
But it's
yes.
sorry. This isn't to. This isn't
but
to
you're
just
making-
real
you're
quick.
switching-
I'm going to say this
but you're
isn't to
making- wow, but
explicitly
I'm-
defend rape threats.
But you are explicitly defending rape threats. You're switching from a prescriptive, they're bad, to a descriptive, well, but they're part of the culture, which excuses the prescriptive, or evades it.
Wait, why has it gotten sidetracked onto rape threats? Because it isn't technically a rape threat, is it? I feel like they're slightly different. Like threats should definitely be banned. Like statements of intent like that, yeah, it should be. But he said, "Do you know what it's okay?"
So you get to say it's bad, but what are you going to do? And then when I say, well, what you could do is ban the people who do it, then you say, well, you're banning some of the best players. And then
Some of the best
and so
players,
the-
yes.
okay, but you have this like logic circle built so that on any point that I say like, hey, okay, so you are saying this, and you're like, well, and then you like slip to the next thing and say, well, but I'm not saying this. So you get to say that rape threats are bad, but the people who make rape threats are the best players, and the priority for
I
the
don't think they're the
community
best
should
players. I think the culture enables the best players to be the best.
and the culture requires the acceptance of rape threats.
Their culture requires the acceptance that somebody is
Okay,
going to get
so I'm
upset.
sorry.
Hold on, just real quick. That somebody's going to get upset.
I
Whoa.
suppose, I
And they're
suppose
going to
actually,
say the thing that
yeah.
they
He
think will
does say, doesn't he? He says it's not rape if I enjoy it. So I suppose that is kind of a rape threat, yeah. But yeah, so I suppose that guy probably should be banned. I mean, he made a threat, so he probably should be banned. But I feel like the shit talking, like, just because it's something that is designed to upset someone, I don't think it should be banned necessarily.
upset you most.
Well,
Which
yeah,
is-
true. It's not a rape threat.
Okay,
Again,
I'm-
your primary
Oh,
criticism
God.
that requires
No,
saying that
I'm
rape threats will happen, then yeah, they almost certainly will happen.
No, my primary criticism is that you are presenting this, and you're just adding more links to the chain, but it doesn't matter how many you add. That you're presenting this chain of statements that all lead to one another so that you can, I guess, safely say rape threats are bad. They're part of the culture. Women who complain about rape threats are invading and shouldn't be there in the first place, just the same way that they shouldn't cross the street and talk to a wildly flailing homeless person with a lubed up dildo in his hand, and then she bent over in front of him and said, gee, I hope nobody sticks that in my butt. And then he did,
yeah.
and now she's complaining about it. And by complaining about it, through her very presence of being a target, she is ruining the sport just the same way a female hockey player who demands that she be allowed to play hockey picks a fight with a guy, gets punched in the face, and then says, oh, there shouldn't be fighting in hockey anymore.
Yes. Oh, you almost have it. But the guy pulled his skate off and like cut her throat, okay? That's what happened. And now everybody's going, whoa, 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 we can't have fighting in hockey anymore. And it's like, no. We're not defending cutting her throat. We're defending fighting.
But
so he stepped over a line.
But you're not.
Yes.
No.
Wait, what's wrong with that analogy? That's what I'm trying to say.
Because if you were going to make that analogy, or to make that analogous, you would have to say that rape threats are bad, and you'd have to actually sincerely mean it. So you'd have to say that men shouldn't say that they're going to rape each other. You'd have to say men shouldn't use racial slurs. They shouldn't call each other the F slur. Men shouldn't say anything to each other that they wouldn't say to a woman. Because male hockey players don't want to get their throats cut by a skate either. It's not allowed in any context. And if that actually happened, you wouldn't tweet she was asking for it. You would just treat it as a murder. You wouldn't be. There wouldn't be like a.
It would depend on what happened.
You wouldn't have a vague, double speak position about it. You would just be like,
listen, if
obviously
she
you can't slit people's throats in hockey.
Going back to the hockey thing, if she kept slashing this guy, she kept chirping this guy over and over again, I wouldn't say it was okay that she got her throat cut, but I would say, like, bro, of course you just went fucking nuts on this guy. This is a little further away from the analogy because I don't think she went that crazy.
You wouldn't do. No, this is not, the analogy is falling apart.
Nope, it's not.
Yes, it is, because in order to make the analogy, we already agreed at the outset of this conversation that while she did escalate a little bit, she didn't escalate nearly as much as he did.
Yes.
Okay, so if somebody got their throat cut in a hockey game, you wouldn't say, "Oh, you went crazy on this guy." You wouldn't say that. You would say they were behaving normally within the established norms of how hockey players should act, and then she got murdered. There would be no equivocation about whether or not you think it's okay to slit someone's throat in a hockey game. And that's what I'm saying. All this is equivocation, which is the same thing I was saying about your tweet, which now I actually am genuinely critical of. Because you start out with the mot, and then you retreat to the Bailey. And the mot is, rape threats are okay, which I think you basically believe.
No.
And you're saying they're okay because it's a male environment with a bunch of guys jokingly threatening to rape each other. And when guys threaten to rape each other, they don't get triggered. They don't start crying. They don't have to quit the game.
I've never introduced that element here.
Because I would draw a line at stuff like threats, just because like you can't. It's so difficult to pass out. Like what's a serious? Like no video game moderator is going to pass out what's a joke threat and what's a serious threat. So you just ban threats. That makes sense. That makes total sense. But generally, shit talking, like, I feel like bringing it back to sort of like more specifically about like, rape-related shit talking, jokes about rape, references to rape when shit talking each other in the game. Like that's more where the conversation should be. I think that's where there's more of a disagreement. Because I don't think anyone can really defend like allowing threats. I don't think anyone really thinks you should be allowed to threaten people straight up on like platforms like that. Because like, how do you moderate that? It's literally impossible. I don't.
I'm not saying you did. I'm saying it's implied. The implication is that the behavior is bad. So, okay, the analogy is a homeless guy is swinging a knife around on the street, right? And nobody's around him. But what you're equating that to is you're saying that in a video game, if a guy's making rape threats, but there's no
Yeah,
women
exactly.
around
And
him,
regardless of whether rape threats are okay. Oh Jesus! The fact is that there was no reason for her to even hear that. Like she did mute that guy, could have kept him muted, could have remuted, and repeatedly pressed him, trying to get him to say more and more once he already started talking about rape. So yeah, there's just absolutely that woman in particular. Yeah, fuck her. But I mean, I think with all this stuff, it's usually more interesting to talk about the actual issue instead of just the one clip. But yeah, with that one girl for sure was baiting it out.
then nobody's really getting hurt. If people are calling each other slurs, but there's no black people around, you're just, saying the N-word, but there's no black people to hear it, then it's okay. You're not hurting anybody. But if a black person comes over and gets within range of the person flailing the knife around, then somebody gets cut. Or a woman, or a Jew, or a gay
Obviously,
person.
all threats are going to be fake.
But
I don't think anyone
you're saying
would
that
track someone down
the
and rape them from a game. Well, I mean, yeah, probably not. But you just can't have. You can't have threats of physical violence. I don't think. I just don't think you can let that fly of any kind, whether it's rape or not. Have you covered him going on Destiny and Dan to be upset about Dan? No, I haven't covered that yet. We will cover Jstlk going on anything else.
Homeless person thought that they were going to be alone on the street, and the men they assume. Well,
yes, you can do it in many games.
It's a male-dominated space. It's our space, and that is my problem with you defining it as a male space. You're saying rape threats are okay because there's no women around, and then if women are going to insert themselves in the situation, then they are knowingly, and in this case, purposely exposing themselves to a situation that's going to hurt them so that they can either feminize or otherwise terraform the space to make it more comfortable for themselves, or so they can play victim.
Maybe.
And in that framing, which I do believe this is your argument, you're saying rape threats are okay. She just shouldn't have been there. She shouldn't have been there in the first place.
So I think I might have to. So the way I see it, I see it in a way more generic sense. Okay, the homeless person.
Dude, the craziest shit
actually
people do in games isn't any shit talking. It's like, yo, thank you for the $2.
Nico P of AZ super chatted $2. FYI, Dan and Jstlk drama squashed per subreddit.
They squashed it. What does that mean? They came to an agreement. Jstlk apologized. Oh, man. Well, we'll still cover it. Jstlk was not threatening to leak financial documents. Jstlk was just saying that Jstlk had some information about this is my interpretation, having seen a lot of it. Jstlk most likely had a conversation with Dan about a month ago where they spoke about bridges, anything else, the amount of money it was making, how much money they're putting in, what Dan was expecting out of it. I imagine that conversation, if I were to guess, there was probably shit said like, wow, yeah, Bridges isn't really going as well as it was as well as was hoped to. Erudite's kind of like not. I don't think Erudite's going to work. Erudite and Destiny aren't working. I would imagine shit like this being said, or, oh look, Bridges is losing crazy money, so anything else has got to be profitable. So that's why we need to paywall it. Something to that effect, maybe, or something regarding the paywall. And there's stuff in that conversation, obviously, Dan wouldn't want out. Because it's embarrassing for people, because it causes problems. But, as a result of Jstlk keeping that quiet, when he went on Destiny's stream to confront Destiny about the paywall stuff, it looked like Jstlk was being a worm tongue because he couldn't release that information that he'd spoken about with Dan. Damn, you're like an oracle. What you saying? 100%. Who are you, Nico P? Are you from Jstlk's Discord or some shit? Or an autistic with impeccable pattern recognition? Just we call it a noticer.
When people are walking by, yeah, the knife, you can tell he has a knife. You know he has a knife. In fact, it's normal for homeless people to have a knife. But mostly the knife doesn't cut you. But you know that homeless person is trying to, they can mentally change how this knife works.
Oh yeah, and so yeah, so that's what the leak would have been about. And then Jstlk and Dan probably agreed. Yo, listen, I took a reputation hit because I couldn't tell people this information, Dan. So in return, I think you should try and calm down the Jstlk stuff. Try and make people think I'm not anti-Semitic. And Dan was like, "Yep, sounds good." And then it never happened. So Jstlk was mad.
Change the knife to cut you, and that is a part of the culture. And for women, it happens to be that they can change that knife into a or into a rape threat, and that will cut a lot more women. So I do think that is
if they're
potentially
always
a part of the culture.
No, you think that men.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It
by
seems like
playing the
Jstlk
game-
has handled it completely incorrectly because it is Streisand affecting it. If you go on a show and say, "I don't want to be called this name," I mean, I hate to say it, but that's it. It's done. It's over. That's your name now.
Consent to this play, the shit talking, and that women can't. And that even when she tried to consent to the shit talking, she said, "I'm going to do this for content," she actually couldn't consent. She does not have the emotional or psychological fortitude to understand what she's signing up for or to be able to withstand the harassment that she eventually receives.
I mean, I'm not saying that. That's objectively what happened, right?
It's a framing of what happened. It's not objective, no.
Okay, what is another framing of what happened? Because it seems like that's what happened to me. That yes, she saw somebody who was being toxic. She knew he was a misogynist, and then she was like, "You know what? I'm gonna unmute and I'm gonna banter back and forth with this guy." And then eventually,
yeah, I know
the most misogynist thing happened.
I'm trying to say your position, so I know that this is what you think, but
okay,
it is.
What's the other framing of it? What's your
So
framing?
now is a great time to remind you guys. Please like, subscribe, donate, buy a membership, gift membership, buy a super chat if you can. Thank you very much.
I'm curious about.
My framing of it, I have a few, I think, stark differences.
Well, deeper armor. It wasn't that Jstlk wasn't freaking out over the nickname. To be fair, it's because he's being called an anti-Semite and called a Nazi, and because people already think he's like a groper. And so it was just adding when Dan comes in and starts saying Jstlker, it throws fire on it, or throws fuel on it, throws fuel on the fire, and all of a sudden everyone's doing it.
From you here.
Yeah.
One is, I don't agree that the presence.
No,
of
Jstlk's
women
not a
in
groper.
the
Jstlk's
game
not a
at all
groper.
will reduce the drive of men to be the best.
I agree
don't-
with that.
Okay, so I don't think it's. I think it's good for people to be good at video games. I don't think societally or worldwide we have a problem of like the best video game players need to be even better. I don't think there's like a. I mean, with AI, soon we.
Maybe Jstlk shouldn't have glazed Nick Fuentes on stream. I mean, but he didn't even say that crazy. I mean, I don't think it's fair to call Jstlk like a groper. What did he say? He just says that Nick Fuentes has a very good way of giving voice to the complaints of the reactionary right or some shit. That's like not even that crazy.
Won't really need people to be good at anything. So I don't have a huge like investment in like maximizing skill.
Okay.
By keeping women or other other pussy types of people out of gaming or competitive gaming. I think skill-based matchmaking solves that.
Let's wind this back a minute anyway. I can get
No,
distracted.
you wouldn't have a vague double speak position about it. You would just be like,
Listen, if
obviously you
she
can't slit people's throats in hockey.
going back to the hockey thing, if she kept slashing this guy, she kept chirping this guy over and over again, I wouldn't say it was okay that she got her throat cut, but I would say like, bro, of course you just went fucking nuts on this guy. This is a little further away from the analogy because I don't think she went that crazy.
You wouldn't do. No, this is not, the analogy is falling apart.
Nope, it's not.
Yes, it is, because in order to make the analogy, we already agreed at the outset of this conversation that while she did escalate a little bit, she didn't escalate nearly as much as he did.
Yes.
Okay, so if somebody got their throat cut in a hockey game, you wouldn't say, "Oh, you went crazy on this guy." You wouldn't say that. You would say they were behaving normally within the established norms of how hockey players should act, and then she got murdered. There would be no equivocation about whether or not you think it's okay to slit someone's throat in a hockey game. And that's what I'm saying. All this is equivocation, which is the same thing I was saying about your tweet, which now I actually am genuinely critical of. Because you start out with the mot, and then you retreat to the Bailey. And the mot is, rape threats are okay. Which I think you basically believe. Don't get triggered at the beginning. She shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Actually cut you. I do think that is
if they're always
potentially a
trying to
part of
figure
the
out
culture.
No. You think that men, by playing the game, consent to this play, the shit talking, and that women can't. And that even when she tried to consent to the shit talking, she said, "I'm going to do this for content," she actually couldn't consent. She does not have the emotional or psychological fortitude to understand what she's signing up for or to be able to withstand the harassment that she eventually receives.
I mean, I'm not saying that. That's objectively what happened, right?
It's a framing of what happened. It's not objective, no.
Okay, what is another framing of what happened? Because it seems like that's what happened to me. That yes, she saw somebody who was being toxic. She knew he was a misogynist, and then she was like, "You know what? I'm gonna unmute and I'm gonna banter back and forth with this guy." And then eventually,
yeah, I know
the most misogynist thing happened.
I'm trying to say your position, so I know that this is what you think, but
okay,
it is.
What's the other framing of it? What's your framing of it? Is what I'm curious about.
My framing of it, I have a few, I think, stark differences from you here.
Yeah.
One is, I don't agree that the presence of women in the game at all.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
reduce-
Mr. Girl literally would have always said this. I don't know if Chad said that Mr. Girl, based on his tweet, has become a soy boy lefty, but I don't know where people have gotten this idea that Mr. Girl is somehow like pro making rape threats to women online. I'd say there is some comparisons you could draw with some stuff where like, you know, he says, "I feel like I'm raping you" to Stardust. Like, you could draw a comparison there maybe, but even I don't think it was. I was thinking about going on to do that. It was with Jstlk, so I was going to call in, which I didn't and wasn't going to. But but these are. Yeah, I feel like it's a different context. It's just like I just don't see that Mr. Girl would have any take other than this on the situation. I just can't imagine what else he would be saying. Like, would you really be like, "Oh yeah, women shouldn't play video games"? That's not the sort of thing Mr. Girl says. He might say that as a joke. He might say that as a satirical opening to a serious comment about why video game spaces aren't very welcoming to women.
The drive of men to be the best.
I agree with that.
Okay. So I don't think I think it's good for people to be good at video games. I don't think societally or worldwide we have a problem of like the best video game players need to be even better. I don't think there's like I mean, with AI soon, we won't really need people to be good at anything. So I don't have a huge like investment in like maximizing skill
Okay.
by keeping women or other pussy types of people out of gaming or competitive gaming. I think skill-based matchmaking solves that. I don't think toxicity is fun. I think, for me personally, but I also think it's it makes people miserable. It makes people rage. It makes them punch holes in their walls.
Okay.
Makes them swat each other. And I don't, in my mind, I don't really see a connection between this and the fun of the game or the competition of the game. So what I see are men playing this game who use the anonymous interactions with strangers as a vector for unloading their hostility and rage.
I
they
don't
carry
know.
with them
That's
through their lives.
delusion. It's delusion to say the Reddit stuff changed him. I mean, he's always said shit like this. He's always said that words do have an impact and you can affect other people's feelings. Like this is. I feel like he literally says that shit and it's fucking like, what is it? Oh man, he has like a video about BLM or the N word or something, where he's talking about. I was saying that black people shouldn't get upset is like dumb or something. I don't know.
I see it as more like
agree with that. I think.
Okay,
It's like
so
a
I see it as like a
catharsis.
I was gonna say like a toxic dumping ground, but sure.
Well, I think that is what catharsis is, isn't it? In, like basically engaging in your toxic behavior in a small amount to like get the toxins out of your system. I think that's like what catharsis is.
Catharsis has positive connotations.
Okay.
That like,
Not strictly. Okay, I probably have the definition wrong.
well, it usually it means you're casting off some burden, emotional burden you're carrying with you, but usually by doing something good.
Okay.
Not like it was really cathartic to like rape that woman in that alley yesterday. I hate my mother so much, and now I feel like I can forgive her now. I don't know. Like that's not. No one's gonna be like, oh, that sounds really cathartic. Good for you, dude.
All right.
So I think that, like a lot of things, there's the ostensible game that's being played, which is Valorant. And then there's another game, the real game that's being played. Or maybe not the real game, but at least an underlying game.
Yes.
Which people of color, gender and sexual minorities, and women have words that you can say to them that make them freak out. It's not just black people. Black people may have the most obvious one and the most triggering, but most people of any kind of minority have a thing that if you say it to them, like you call me the K slur, I don't know if I can say it on Kick. It's so similar to the word kick, but if you call me the
I think you can say it if you're using it in an analytical sense, which I believe you are. You're not calling anybody
okay,
so go ahead.
You don't have to know anything about me other than I'm a Jew. I'm not even a real Jew. I'm not religious. My mother's not Jewish. I have no connection to Jewish people. But a bunch of people in my family died in the Holocaust. And when you call me a kike, I have to think about that. I have to. It's just a button in my brain that says, picture Nazis storming Poland and killing everybody. And not everybody has a word like that, especially not, people can't always tell what your word is. So like if you're talking to me in a video game, you probably can't tell that you can just start throwing things out and eventually you'll guess, right? With a black person, you hear that smoke alarm beep and you know what word to use to trigger them.
The chirps, yeah.
So the chirps, yeah. So everybody's got a word. Not everybody. Minorities have these words that I think you're bringing in outside trauma into the game. It's not the trauma of losing the last match. It's not like, oh, you suck, or oh, you're a shitty teammate, or oh, you used like the cheap tactic that, you know, you're spamming or whatever. It's to me, it's outside the bounds of the game. And a good analogy is like, what are you allowed to say to somebody during a soccer game? Like, can you call?
But that does bring up. Okay, that brings up a part of why I think you should be allowed to trash talk, right? Sometimes there's someone who's beating you with some cheap shit, some spammy shit, some fucking cheese shit. Some OP fucking character day after patch that's just been fucking buffed and is totally broken and needs a fucking hotfix. Some stupid shit. Or they're like teabagging and BMing when they're raping you. You want to be able to use comms to say back, hey, fuck you, Ninja, fuck you, F. So, like, you want to be able to do that back. What, so I just have to sit here and take it and get mad with no recourse? No, I want to fucking... And they want me to as well. They want me to. They're trying to make me mad. They're trying to make me mad. So what? I can't react? No, let me fucking react. Let me express myself. Like, that's like...
Call your opponent a kike?
That's
on
part
a
of the
field
fun.
In front of a ref? No.
Probably not in front of a ref.
No. Yeah, you're not allowed to do that. Are you allowed to whisper it? If enough people find out you did that, you'll probably get in trouble.
Yeah.
You'll probably lose your sponsors, probably get kicked off the team. Because
You know
people
why?
don't want to... Why?
I can't say.
Yeah,
why.
Mr. Gold, he
Sorry.
doesn't know much about UK football. Exactly.
I
don't
was
think it
going
matters.
to make a joke about the what's the
About
women's suffrage
Jews?
amendment?
Oh.
Sorry, it's
But
just like
whatever,
right. But
whatever
I think
slur-
I think that is a change in those spaces, which you can argue it's for the better. I just feel like
But my
I really
point is
enjoyed
that
just
most in chess, can you call your opponent the N word during a chess
No,
match? Are you
but would-
are you even allowed to talk at all?
I think you're allowed to talk, but it's like
Okay.
I don't think you're allowed to trash talk.
Right, because it ruins the game. Because the game is supposed to be a game of skill, like you're saying. It's supposed to be about who's the best, and instead, it's about who is the best at making the other person. Also, you're trying to trigger the person partly because you're resentful about your life or sad or something, but also you're triggering them because you want them to play worse. Nobody,
Yep.
you're right, and that doesn't lead to the best players.
It leads to the best stories, without a doubt.
I understand that, but I'm just saying that like the whole structure of your argument is based on that somehow it's more pure to have and more skill based and leads to the cream of the crop players having their perfect playground to play in that's not ruined by sensitive people, when every competitive sport where you are not anonymous and where there are judges like nearby and they're not like 5 billion conversations to listen to at the same time to make sure people aren't breaking the rules, they all outlaw this shit because it ruins the game. So
I don't think they outlaw
that-
it because it ruins the game. I think they outlaw it because certain things you say don't fit within societal norms, and we've decided as a society that we're going to penalize any.
And now, I don't like this comparison either. This is now comparing like pubs, like solo queue, to like league sports matches, right? These are not the same thing. Obviously, in Overwatch League, yeah, if you go into an Overwatch League game and you start saying the N-word, yeah, I expect you're going to get banned, kicked off your team. That's going to happen, yeah. No shit. But if you just queue into a ranked game on Overwatch, I don't think you should be banned. Like, these are two different... You have to compare... It's like going to fucking... It's like being banned from your local, like, public football pitch or some shit. Like, there's... I don't know what... If the US even has any green areas in, like, populated cities or towns. But there'll be like public football pitches and shit like that, and like fields and shit here, where people will go and play football on the weekends. It's like getting banned from there for just saying, like, for talking shit with your mates when you're there. Like that would be insane. That'd be totally nuts. But yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense that if you're in a profession, if you're in the fucking NBA, if you're in the fucking NBL, you have parks. Do you? Are you sure? I've never seen an American park aside from in Salvo's dog walking video. Do you guys have places to play sports? Really? I've never. I didn't think that was really like. Is there an American thing? Is that an American thing? Really playing like sports in parks on the weekend? I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Yeah, 5-a-side in Central Park. These guys are just tripping. You're saying street ball. Like, yeah, I'm sure black people play sports on the street and shit. I'm sure black people play sports, but that's not, they don't do that at parks either. That's always on, like, concrete and shit, right? What sports do Americans go out and play at a park? Baseball. American football. Yeah, how do you play? Sure, you'd have to have a. Do they have the goals at American parks? No way. I don't believe that. They do have the goals. Well, damn. Crazy. Americans do play sports. That's crazy.
Anybody who violates those norms. I don't think it has anything to do with how it changes the game. Because I actually think, in a lot of cases, a lot of trash talk and the most ruthless kinds of trash talk make games better. Make boxing matches better, make basketball games better, make football games better. Absolutely. I don't think it has anything to do with how it affects the sport.
Do you think they make the players better?
I think it can. I think anger can be a driver, both to improve the sport.
Question. On average, do you think whispering the N-word into every basketball player's ear in the middle of a match makes them play better or worse?
It could absolutely make them play
better. Listen, I didn't say I play sports, but it's like it's a very culturally common thing that, you know, people will have like a 5-a-side team or group that they play with on the weekends. That's a culturally common thing here. I've never heard Americans or any piece of American culture or media talk about like the consistent group that they play a sport with on the weekends. That's never been a thing that I've ever heard referenced in American culture.
I'm asking you if it could. I'm asking you if you think it would.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Do you think it would make every basketball player play better if they were enraged every time they were playing?
Not if they're enraged, but I think also if you allowed this to happen, it wouldn't really be enraging anymore, would it?
Obviously, I get you have parks. I know you have parks, but I'm saying I feel like I've just never heard that. I've never heard of recreational sports in America. That's never been common regular recreational sports in America. I've never heard of that. That's a new concept to me. I knew it was a thing here.
So
is it not the fact that hold on? Is it not the fact?
I mean, aside from like black people movies where like they'll play basketball but that's or like in Mr. Robot where they all go to the basketball court, you know, in season 2.
Come and rage.
But that's in a prison. That's actually a prison. He's tripping.
We haven't called black people the N-word enough times. They just haven't gotten used to it. But if we keep doing it, we just got to get through this final stretch of hurling slurs at minorities and women and rape threat. Women haven't been raped enough times, and they haven't been.
I'm saying if this trash talk became normal, wouldn't that just be like if you had slurs hurled at you all the time? Would it continue to harm
normal? This is what I'm saying. It can't be. You know, yes, it can continue to harm you. Relentless psychological abuse does not start harming you less.
I feel like it would.
Well, I don't see any evidence of that.
I'm trying to think of what a good example is.
A good example is women on Twitter saying, "I'm so fucking sick and tired of this. I can't tell you how many times I get sexually harassed. Every time I leave my fucking house, somebody says something from across the street, and it's a fucking nightmare. It makes me not want to go anywhere. I would rather meet a bear in the woods than I would live."
Depends who sees American. Kuihman obviously doesn't count the black population. No, I believe I'm a big proponent of Pan-Africanism. I think all the African brothers need to be reunited.
I'd really rather deal with a bear than a man.
I understand that. I'm trying to think of like how it would play out at the hyper-competitive sport levels.
Well, just what you're saying doesn't make sense. You're saying that by your logic, if we reduce the amount of slurs that we say to women and people of color,
shooting guns is cool, but going well, I mean, it might be. I don't know. It might be fucking boring. I don't know. I just take everyone's word for it that it's cool, but it's not a sport. Like just going and fucking shooting tin cans or some shit. That's not a fucking sport. Come on. Even like chess, it's not a fucking sport. Like, come on. When we're talking about sports, we're obviously talking about physical activities, like actual fucking sports. It's a hobby. Yeah, it's a hobby.
Then we'll actually be hurting them because we'll be imbuing these words with even more.
Yeah, archery isn't a sport.
So to
that's
protect
true.
them, we should allow chess players to call each other kikes. And then they'll be less mad.
Fishing isn't a sport.
I'm just telling you that if you had the same word hurled at you like multiple times, I absolutely believe that you would stop feeling like the same level.
It can be a hobby and a skill, but it's not really like a sport. I see sports as, you know, physical things. That's what they have to be. I think the retarded expansion of the definition is dumb. You can still do things that are non-sport competitively. I feel like.
You can. I think anger can be a driver, both to improve at the sport.
Question. On average, do you think whispering the N-word into every basketball player's ear in the middle of a match makes them play better or worse?
It could absolutely make them play better.
I'm not asking you if it could. I'm asking you if you think it would. Do you think it would make every basketball player play better if they were enraged every time they were playing?
Not if they were enraged, but I think also if you allowed this to happen, it wouldn't really be enraging anymore.
No, archery isn't physical as fuck. You're standing still.
Would it?
Come on.
So
is it not the fact that hold on? Is it not the fact that these are taboo that they become enraging?
We haven't called black people the N-word enough times. They just haven't gotten used to it. But if we keep doing it, we just got to get through this final stretch of hurling slurs at minorities and women and rape threat. Women haven't been raped enough times, and they haven't been.
I'm saying if this trash talk became normal, wouldn't that just be like if you had slurs hurled at you all the time? Would it continue to harm
normal? This is what I'm saying. It can't be. You know, yes, it can continue to harm you. Relentless psychological abuse does not start harming you less.
I feel like it would.
Well, I don't see any evidence of that.
I'm trying to think of what a good example is.
A good example is women on Twitter saying, "I'm so fucking sick."
I think it depends on the person. I think some people can become. I don't think it's. I thought they're being both being way too broad here. Mr. Guy acting like you can't acclimatize to slurs, you can't become okay with certain things people say. And Jstlk getting like, oh yeah, that just does happen. But I think it's split. I think there are types of people that will never get used to people saying horrible shit to them, and other types of people that can hear it said once, be like, oh, that's upsetting, and then compartmentalize it and be fine about it. But
sick and tired of this. I can't tell you how many times I get sexually harassed. Every time I leave my fucking house, somebody says something from across the street. And it's a
Shooting
fucking
is the
nightmare. It
hobby,
makes me
killing
not
is
wanna
the
go
sport.
anywhere. I would rather meet a
Yeah,
bear in the woods than I would literally rather deal
Sure.
with a bear than a man.
I understand that. I'm trying to think of like how it would play out at the hyper competitive sport levels.
Well, just what you're saying doesn't make sense. You're saying that by your logic, if we reduce the amount of slurs that we say to women and people of color, then we'll actually be hurting them because we'll be imbuing these words with even more potency. So to protect them, we should allow chess players to call each other, and then they'll be less mad.
I'm just telling you that if you had the same
doesn't make any
word
sense.
hurled at you like multiple times, I absolutely believe that you would stop feeling like the same level of moral outrage at
I
it.
got called a kike. I wasn't that mad. Because I
Okay.
was like, oh, this is just a crazy person.
Sure.
And the second time,
Krona super chatted $3.30, opening my wallet and my heart to tell you that Sumbos take 120 pounds of force, 60 kilos of force, to draw, so archery can be a sport sometimes.
Thank you for $5. No, you're still standing still. No. No.
I was like, oh, there are people in the world who actually hate Jewish people. I didn't really get that. I thought that was like a thing from a history book. I didn't understand that that would... I'm not even really Jewish. What does that have to do with me? I guess I'm not really mad because it's not really me. Then the third time, I was like, well, maybe I am Jewish. Because this keeps happening.
It's a sport, Google it. Yeah, if you
And then-
Google if chess is a sport, it'll tell you it's a sport too, but it's not.
The fourth time, I'm like, okay, I see what it is now. You hate Jews, and the hatred of Jews is a conspiratorial, paranoid hatred. So there's nothing I can say or do to get out of it. You're gonna dismiss me, and you're gonna invoke the murder of my family to try to trigger me. And you're just gonna keep doing this and keep doing this and keep doing this. It gets worse. It doesn't get better in my personal experience.
Okay. I mean, I can't discount your personal experience. I'm just trying to think of how things have worked like this for me, like certain insults in my life, and I feel like it's the opposite. See you later, Kiriko.
I can never. I feel like for most people, though, with stuff like that, where it's like an insult that you don't initially understand why it's being said or something, I feel like for a lot of people, it's gonna be like it does go the way Mr. Girl just said, but then there's like more steps where it's like, okay, I get what's being said, and then you don't, and then you stop caring so much. But for Mr. Girl, he's saying that it just stops at, or well, it just keeps getting worse. But I feel like for a lot of people, like, yeah, maybe the first time you're called something, you don't get quite what the motivation behind it is or what it entails, so it doesn't bother you as much. And then as you gain more context on it and how the words used or some shit and hear it more, then you have more understanding of why it's meant to attack you. But then, yeah, it would. I feel like there's more steps past that. But yeah, okay.
I'm trying to think of how it's worked out in my life. I don't have like, I have like some of those slurs, but I've never had them really hurled at me. So,
Okay, my point is that it just feels like you're avoiding answering.
Darts is not a sport, no.
Well, hold on. Just to be clear,
Darts is a
I'm
game.
trying to be as charitable to your view as possible and trying to consider it very much. No. Hold on.
Saying you're charitable is not charitable. This is
Hold
this
on.
is bullshit.
Sorry, I'm trying to. That's probably the wrong word. Not charitable. I'm trying to like take
Don't
your,
say what
your view
just
of it.
do
in.
it.
Yeah, bowling's a game,
Don't
not a
say you're
sport.
doing it,
Yep.
just do it. You're not saying
Okay.
you're doing something in a conversation isn't doing it.
Listen,
It's
that
doing
makes you
something- it's doing a
uncomfortable.
different thing.
Fine.
It doesn't make me uncomfortable. It's just dishonest.
Okay.
It's a maneuver.
You just tilted me, okay? I'm about to leave the game. I literally just forgot what I was about to say. Fuck you. Give me a second.
You're saying something about how you're respecting my opinion.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So Now, this is all operating in a world where in sports, somebody trash talks you and you can literally put tape over their mouth so that you never have to hear that again. Okay? That is the world we live in. I think that world...
Yeah, I've seen curling. I know curling, where they fucking sweep in front of the puck thing.
is better for all of us. We're like,
you can't put tape over
where
them,
you
I
can
think,
still
with
have the
earplugs.
Curling was like curling was weirdly big in the UK, I feel like, for a brief time. I feel like that was a thing.
competition if you want it, right? Or earplugs
No.
in, sure. Earplugs in.
Those, well,
Agreed.
that's different.
Earplugs in.
That's
Yep.
pretty
Earplugs
different.
in. Sure. I'm agreeing.
It's a big
Earplugs
thing
in.
now. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it got a big surge, like when I was a kid. I remember seeing like the BBC talking about fucking curling and shit. Pathos will be able to. I feel like this is a thing, right? That happened.
So you don't have to hear that. You don't have to be tilted by the trash talk anymore.
Yeah, you don't want to deal with racism? Just poke your eyes out and plug your ears.
But hold on, they're earplugs that only cut out one person.
Got investment from the National Lottery for the squad. Right. Okay. So just a bunch of funding went into it.
Pretty big
Okay,
difference.
well, what if there's 5 people?
So there might be 5 people. You mute those 5 people.
Okay,
Again, we all operate within society. Like I absolutely refuse to believe that every single game is like this level of toxicity.
we
It's just
operate
not.
when we operate in
not.
society where there's social accountability for things that you say.
Yes.
Imagine what it would be like to go to be a woman at a nightclub where everybody has to wear glasses that make it so you can't recognize anybody. So you can't see what anybody looks like. And you can never find out who was there. Would you go to that nightclub as a woman?
Possibly.
No.
I
The
totally
first
yeah,
fucking
no,
thing
no, no.
that you would get
I think this is
instantly
insane.
raped.
You're essentially arguing like for the bear in the woods, and that there isn't really intrinsic morality that people believe in and act within.
What? I'm just going off statistics. The best predictor of rape is opportunity.
Okay.
This is why people rape their stepchildren and rape
Yeah,
their
sure.
siblings, rape their girlfriends.
Yep.
Yo,
rape
Mr.
their
Girl's spitting.
boyfriends.
I've heard that
right?
somewhere before.
I don't disagree with you.
Okay, so if the best predictor of rape is
I think Mr. Girl
opportunity,
stole that from
like, I
me.
don't understand.
I think
What do
he,
you
I think he
you
stole
see
that.
the
I say that
portal?
all the time. I
Like,
think he stole that from me.
This is what happens if you give people the opportunity to be
The
violent.
portal thing
or
wasn't anonymous at all.
It's anonymous in the sense that the people who are offended by what you're doing are on the other side of the world, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Okay. I mean, I feel like they
If
can
you-
do something about it.
Okay, how long do you think you would live if you made a website where there's a gun aimed at your head and you're in the forest somewhere, and all somebody has to do to kill you is click kill? There's a button, and it's hooked
Not
up
very
to the
long,
gun.
but if that's hooked up to the internet,
Yeah, it's hooked. Yes, the internet where people are anonymous. Exactly. How long do you think you would live if you stood
Sure.
in the center, the town or city center of wherever you live,
not
with
very
a gun
long.
aimed? No, no. You stood in the center of it where you live, your community, with a gun, and said, "You have my permission to shoot me."
I
Nobody would do
believe if we could produce all of, I believe you could live for a while, for like a long time. I don't think
Exactly.
humanity's like that. Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying if you.
I'm saying that
I'm sorry, I'm saying-
being able to inflict damage on you anonymously is a great predictor of whether people are going
No.
to do it.
I thought you were saying with that hypothetical that it would be anonymous, that like you wouldn't know the identity of the person who
No,
shot
it's
you.
not. No, it's not anonymous.
Oh, sure, yeah, it would be longer. I'm not saying it doesn't increase the proclivity for bad behavior. It absolutely does. I just don't think it increases the proclivity for like completely inhuman behavior to the degree that you're saying with the nightclub.
I think that the best predictor of rape is
Opportunity.
thinking opportunity, meaning, I mean, you always have the opportunity. You could just tackle somebody in the grocery store and rape them. Opportunity meaning the possibility of getting away with it.
Sure. But then do you
The
think
likelihood.
that applies to all negative behaviors?
I don't know.
Like
My
you don't think
point is-
there's any you don't think there's like an ingrained, and I think this is probably cultural, like an ingrained desire not to rape.
an ingrained desire not to rape? No, I think there is an ingrained
Like you
desire
think
to rape.
if humanity fell apart, we wouldn't have people who would just decide not to rape. We wouldn't have like more people than would more people
Humanity,
or would
I
more
don't know
people
what
decide not to rape or to rape in a zombie apocalypse?
I don't know, but humanity can't fall apart because we're social creatures. We just break into smaller bands.
Okay.
And I think if I
So
remember, my
interacting somebody with
evolutionary-
from another band, but you've been raised in this society. You think you would just rape that woman if you had no connection to her and the opportunity?
That's what people tend to do. Yeah, you usually don't rape your neighbor.
Okay.
You rape
Well-
you rape the women of the enemy tribe after you steal all their
Well,
shit.
that's what people used to do before the past like 80 years. I don't know
still
that
do
I
it.
don't I think this is less ingrained now in the West.
What do you think the Israelis are doing to Palestinian women if they get them cornered and nobody's watching?
I thought they're literally, if I'm not incorrect, they're literally graduate papers suggesting that it's a form of racism that there aren't more rapes by Israelis towards Palestinians.
Okay, sure, but that would imply that they want to rape them. I mean, my point is that
Well, no, it'd imply the
presenting it-
opposite. It'd imply the opposite. But I get what he's saying, though. Yeah, obviously, yes. People that are different to you, that are seen as outside or subhuman or whatever, yes, you're more likely to do bad things to them. Yeah.
itself, as I said, is the best predictor of rape, and that we see, I think, in every single war there is rape because no one can stop you, and you have no connection to the people that you're going to rape. And it's not because you hate them that you're raping them. You're just raping them because they're women.
Yeah, I that's a fundamental disagreement. But I like there's just
Rape
it's
never
kind of
changes.
unprovable. In my
It's
opinion.
not unprovable. I mean, are
You're going for historical, and I'm saying that I believe like the current culture we're raised in has like fundamentally changed how people feel about that. Like I don't think I could do that, and I realize that's unprovable. You're gonna appeal to history, and I'm gonna say, well, no, we haven't had this culture for long enough to know.
Okay, so your argument is that men in the U.S. on average are less likely to rape a helpless woman than men from earlier time periods?
Or just places that haven't progressed. Yeah.
Okay. Is the rate of rapes in the U.S. decreasing?
I would have to believe so, but the problem is that they've changed the definitions of rapes and sexual assaults, and we've also increased this awareness thing. It's one of those things where it's like mental illness is also spiked by like 700%. Is that because we actually recognize mental illness and are trying to like raise awareness about it, or is that because we are 7 times more mentally ill?
Even if you're right that
But if rape's not going down with the change of culture, then there's actually no point changing the culture. No, we might as well just be totally like, who gives a fuck? Say what you want about rape. Do what you want. Do what you want. Who cares? Because it's not going to change anything anyway. People who ask for consent are going to ask for consent, and people who don't are going to barge through. Like I don't. Surely there's. Surely we have to assume that it's getting better in some way. No, we have to assume that. Otherwise, there's literally no point.
when I don't even know if you are, but even if the likelihood of a man raping a helpless woman has decreased, it still is a billion times higher if there's no chance of him getting caught than it is if there is a chance of him getting caught, right?
I agree. I agree that it maybe not a billion, but like I agree that it's significantly higher.
Okay.
What
So
subjective and basis? I don't know
my
what it
point
means.
is that you are kind of glossing over the anonymity
Opportunity just
factor.
when opportunity. All that means. Okay, I don't even know how to explain it to you. If you don't want to know what it means, I don't think you understand what's being said. When he says opportunity is the predictor, it means if someone's in a position where they're likely to get away with it and they can do it, they are more likely to do it. That is a comment on the stats. That is a comment on the stats. I don't know why you would think crime of opportunity, saying it's a crime of opportunity and saying, look at the stats are in some way contradictory. That doesn't make any sense.
Of these games as like just a kind of minor detail. And I'm saying men don't talk to women this way face to face. They
Certainty
talk
of
to
being,
women
I don't
this
know
way
what
from
you're on
across the
about.
street when they're drunk or
I
on the internet.
don't believe it's a minor detail. I'm not sure how we got disconnected there. I do think it is significant. I think if you had your identity tied to all of these things, then you wouldn't talk this way.
But you think that would be bad?
I think it would change it in a way that I don't like, but I don't think it would be necessarily bad.
Okay, so I guess my point is
The point of saying it's a crime of opportunity is most people who rape someone do not go out in public, see a girl who's hot, and then chase her down, fucking pin her down in a fucking bush and rape her. That doesn't generally happen. That's very rare. What usually happens is a male friend, co-worker, boyfriend, family member is in a secluded, private situation with the woman and takes advantage of it. That is where like 90% of rape happens. That's the point of saying it's a crime of opportunity. So that's got nothing, that in no way is, saying that is in no way contradictory to saying, look at the stats. That is what the stats say.
that the saying, okay, we're going to play a game where we try to achieve a goal. We have 2 teams of 6 and we all shoot each other. Like, okay. And also, we're anonymous and we're going to be talking to each other over mics.
Mhm.
These 2 things are completely different, but they're paired together as though one is like kind of necessary to do the other. And also that there's not going to be any moderation or rules, unlike every other sport where it is feasible to moderate how people talk to each other. They do.
Except, yeah, but then you need to add in the muting. But I'm guessing you're going to include that, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can give earplugs to a basketball player and say, or special earplugs that only mute one person, and say, like, we know you don't like how that guy's talking to you. I don't think that fixes the problem introduced by a slur.
Okay. So I guess I probably just feel like you need to be able to tank the initial like insanity from somebody for about 5 seconds and mute them and then move on. You're saying that you think it's, I don't know if I think it's unreasonable to have something like insane said to you and not be able to deal with that. I'm just trying to think of like how this works in my head. I don't think it's like totally crazy to say that, you know, if you get called the K word, that you have to be able to, you know, be okay and mute and still play normally and not be disturbed at all. I don't think I believe that.
Yeah, it's likely,
think-
like the likelihood of getting caught, how much access you have to them, whether there's, you know, other people around applying pressure in some way, but it's like a motive as well. It's what is it? Opportunity, access, intent, or motive.
Probably like I would expect most people to be able to withstand most insanity, and usually it ramps in a way that's fairly predictable.
But why? What's the point?
What's
I
the
mean,
point?
it's like what it comes down to is like if you had a button that made it so that rape threats like the one this guy made would result in a suspension from the game or a ban, you wouldn't push it.
I would. I do think the guy should be banned or suspended. I do, like I said, I think it's like a suspension in hockey. It's like you can fight, but if
Do you think he should be banned? You think he should be suspended
Permanently?
if he said the same thing to a woman? I mean, sorry, if he said the same thing to a man, do you think he should be banned?
That is different, but I think that's just like that is different to me. And I think it's
Yeah, so the
probably
answer is
wrong
no.
that it's different. No, but sorry, this isn't the way I think women are like worse. I think women are just generally worse with all trash talk, but I don't think this is like the same thing. How can I explain this? I think the like you said the specific like way to find that knife that actually cuts people. I think women are worse at dealing with that, but I think everybody's bad when they get like the knife to the heart. So I think those specific knives, like those, that's a kind of behavior, and looking for that is like a little more unhinged than just like trash talking, throwing out slurs or whatever, and not really like I think there was something more insidious about the way he says. He doesn't just say I want to rape you. He says like, have you ever been raped before? There's something like slightly more insidious about that, in my opinion. Like he's trying to trigger some kind of thing, right?
But that's you're saying that's the whole point. I mean, he's trying to trigger her too much. So if he just said, "I'm gonna rape you, bitch,"
Like almost that would be less bad. I'm just trying to think. There's like, it seems like there's a line to me that it is hockey's such a great metaphor for this, where it's like, yeah, fighting's okay, but then yeah, if you hit somebody with your stick in a certain way, you cross check them in the head, like that's bad. Even though it's like only a degree up from fighting, that's like a couple game suspension. And then like yeah, if you actually
so you
like
think
two-handed hit somebody in the head,
all right. So how long do you
permanent.
think he should
Go
be
ahead.
banned for?
I don't know, like a month to permanent potentially. It seems like he's a repeat offender. I'd probably say for him permanent. There's other people who have come out with the same guy on clips where he's saying insane shit.
Let's say, but just based on this one incident.
Based on this one incident, I wouldn't say permanent. Probably like 30 days. But again, this also we basically are working in a perfect world kind of where you could enforce this. I think there's issues with enforcement that also make it
It's
like
not.
kind of
It's going to
more
happen.
difficult.
Those issues are going to be solved very soon. You saw the GPT 4.0 demo, right?
I didn't. I saw you made a post about it. I haven't seen it yet. I should go look at it.
Okay. I mean, it can. It's a model trained on sound, so it can understand you and speak to you in real time. So like, you can hook one of those up to every game, or you could do transcripts and feed whatever. There will be a way to have probably your PlayStation 6 running an LLM locally that knows everything you say and kicks you from the game.
Creates like a signature for you so you can log into your account to play
It could
games.
it'll probably get to the point where it'll probably get to the point where it won't even transmit what you said.
Yeah, sure.
So I don't think we have to do the perfect world thing.
I don't. Mr. Girl's bought into this AI stuff too much, man. Everyone has. Well, not everyone. It's like that's. I don't believe that's gonna happen because it's the whole thing of, or with every 50% reduction in errors, it's a exponential increase in required power. GPT-4 was up 500 gigabytes to 1 terabyte storage. How would you ever run it locally? How would you even put it in memory? Yeah. I just don't see it. I don't see it. It seems like AI is capping. Unless there's like people say about like quantum computer shit, but I don't know anything about that, and it feels like a total another Reddit meme. Like all the AI shit is just so Reddit. It's like so. It takes me back to like all GPT stuff and AI and Sam Altman and all these fucking retards. It just reminds me so much of like Reddit talking about Elon Musk and Tesla in like 2013. Oh my god, Elon Musk's gonna save the world. He's gonna tunnel underneath LA. He's gonna make the tunnels under LA, and he's gonna go to space, and we're all gonna be going to space. We're gonna have a Mars colony. There's gonna be self-driving Teslas. I mean, we've kind of got self-driving Teslas. I mean, they like kill people, but that's it. None of the rest. And it's the same here. It's the same here. It's gonna hit a wall, not a wall. It's gonna start plateauing. It's not gonna be that impressive. It's not gonna get that much crazier than it is now. You'll probably be able to AI generate some porn. But you already can do that. You can already AI generate some porn. You'll probably be able to do stuff like that, you know, small things. It'll be good for, it'll speed a lot of work up. And some jobs will go away. Some jobs will change a bit. Apps will change. Apps will utilize it in different, and that's what it'll be. It won't be like all of a sudden everything's crazy and we've got AI that does fucking everything. It'll be bits of AI are implemented in lots of different ways in varying degrees in every aspect of, you know, software and technology and shit. There'll just be little bits of, you know, AI application here and there that speed things up or make things easier or make it more use. Where'd you get this information that the rate will be exponential? There's a bunch of articles about it. What Rita knows about this shit. Oh yeah, Rita. Yeah. Rita. What's this shit about? How do I find this? We'll link this video as well. How do I find this video that Ghoul sent Will? About how AI is just going to get more and more difficult to... Here we go. Read something.
There's nothing more powerful than you.
Fuck me.
Making your thing happen. Really.
Which is actually quite difficult to write. What happens when you ask it about something more difficult, right? When you ask it to write that code, which is actually quite difficult to write, and it starts to make things up, it starts to hallucinate, and it starts to be less accurate. And that is essentially the performance degrading because it's underrepresented in the training set. The argument, I think, is, this is the argument that I'm starting to come around to thinking, if you want performance on hard tasks that are underrepresented on just general internet text and searches, we have to find some other way of doing it than just collecting more and more data, right? Particularly because it's incredibly inefficient to do this. Right? On the other hand, these companies they've got a lot more GPUs than me, right? They're going to train on bigger and bigger corpuses, better quality data. They're going to use human feedback to better train their language models and things. So they may find ways to improve this, you know, up this way a little bit as we go forward. But it's going to be really interesting to see what happens because, you know, will it plateau out? Will we see ChatGPT 7 or 8 or 9 be roughly the same as ChatGPT 4? Or will we see another state-of-the-art performance boost every time? I'm kind of trending this way, but, you know, it'll be exciting to see if it goes this way.
Take a look at this puzzle devised by today's...
Where's that fucking article that Rita sent me ages ago? Oh, what's this? No zero shot without exponential data. Pre-training concept frequency determines multimodal data model performance. Just explain it. Oh, here we go. Here it is. Deep learning's diminishing returns. Oh, I just want something that summarizes it. Just wait, I can't read this whole fucking thing. I hope that's about MRIs. Go on that. I'm way past it. Very good summary in this article. Does it just say point? Thank you. There we go. To half the error rate, you can expect to need more than 500 times the computational resources. There you go. There you go. So 500 times to half the error rate. So it will probably plateau out.
Really there.
Maybe.
Unless there's some
I feel like,
crazy development.
I feel like people
tech.
might overestimate how effective that is or how scalable it is. I don't know that it'll be scalable to like video games very soon.
Okay.
But in any case,
I play.
So let's just assume that enforcement works.
I play Smash. I play a lot of Smash.
All right.
We got something to say about that?
Bro, you've definitely heard every Melee player pedophile joke that's ever happened, so.
I don't play Melee. I'm an Ephebephile, so I play Ultimate.
Okay, sorry, that's the one that the pedophiles are in, but Ephebephile, sure, yeah, it's fine.
Or Hebephile. What's the one? No, I don't know.
The post-pubescent.
I actually don't. I don't know which one is which. I should. I really should know this.
Ephebephile is like the older, prepubescent kids is pedophile. Yeah.
Oh, I know that. I know. That's the only one I know.
Oh, you're saying Hebephile versus Ephebe? I don't know. I actually don't know the difference between those two either.
Only a weirdo would know those. Okay.
I actually, so which one is
Smash,
which?
And
Ephebe
no voice chat. But
definition.
There are still a couple of problems. You can teabag. There's no way to stop people from doing that, obviously.
Sexually attracts to adolescents.
People do this thing where they wiggle their joystick back and forth really fast. It's really fucking annoying.
Okay.
And then people will beat you, and then
so ephebophilia is adolescence, and hebophilia is like 11 to 14. Okay.
Have a pre-written message that you can send that's like good job.
Yeah. That like trash talk probably will always exist no matter how disabled it gets. Like even when you have no way to communicate, there's a way to communicate.
There's always a way to trash talk.
Yep.
And so I should disclose this, that I actually think I don't understand it. So for me, when you're weighing like, oh, the good of trash talk and the competition against, how it hurts people, I never trash talk anyone. I never teabag. I never want to. I literally don't understand it. I don't understand going from a perfectly good, like, sportsman-like game where people are being friendly and playing friendly, or not playing friendly, but like playing competitively, to being like, I want to, now that I've beaten you. Okay, also people will play like, they'll play as though they're very like civil, and then when they beat you as you're dying, then they'll start teabagging and then they'll leave. I literally don't understand it. I actually can't comprehend what is going through your mind to be like, I just want to upset this person. And for no reason, and just know that I upset them. I'm not even gonna I'm not even to like make them play worse, not to be like, oh, now there's more like at stake because you're pissed at me. I'm just gonna do that and then leave. I actually cannot comprehend that, but it just seems like pathetic.
I mean, I guess I understand it. I wonder if it is the dissatisfaction with life thing. I feel like I was kind of a loser when I was in university, and I used to drop my rank intentionally in StarCraft so I could play like silver players and then just make fun of them instead of actually really playing the game. It's pretty sick actually when you think about it. And then once I like got a job and got a life and figured some shit out, it just like that stopped appealing to me. So it's probably some dissatisfaction with life thing.
Okay, tell me about that. Okay, so you didn't have a job. How old were you?
I was in university. Like 22,
okay, so
23?
In university. Are you Canadian?
Yeah.
Okay. You're using weird words. Okay. So you're at school, you're 20, and then can you walk me through like the psychology of being like, I'm gonna drop my rank?
It was just fun to see people mad. I don't know why. Well, sorry, maybe I do know why. Hold on. I don't know. Sometimes it's just interesting to see people like get really reactive and angry. I don't know. Yeah, it's just
It would
like
make you-
trolling.
it would
It
make you
is
feel- it would make
actual
you-
trolling. But you know what was the best though was when you ran into somebody else who was also smurfing and you had like an amazing match with them. Sorry, it was funny. It was interesting. Yeah, I think it comes back to like the dominance thing, and I wonder if it's like you're
Oh, it
not
made you
having a
feel
lot of
like
success in like your
powerful?
personal life. Yeah, like it's just like you're just destroying this other person. I didn't do the same thing in Dota, but I used to play mid in Dota, and it's like the same thing, like trying to assert dominance over the other person, I guess. And then yeah, I'd say probably once I like
Mr. Girl's totally allowed. He's totally cleared as far as Destiny's concerned. It was explicitly stated when Destiny was making his new blacklist. Destiny said, yeah, no, Mr. Girl's not on any blacklist, so I talked to Mr. Girl again.
finished university, got a job, and like kind of got my shit together, the appeal of that just all
There's
started to go
actually,
away.
I don't know if we'll get to it tonight. I might watch call-ins tomorrow or something. But there's a call-in. Someone comes on and asks Mr. Girl if he would talk to Destiny again. And Mr. Girl says, no, obviously not. And the fact you're asking me that makes me, again, realize that none of you actually think that anyone can truly think bad things about Destiny. But no, I actually do think bad things about Destiny.
Did you reflect on that behavior, or like wait?
Yeah, a little bit. It was like, oh, that was psychopathic. I remember I had friends in university who wanted to play with me, and I was like, no, this is I'm not showing you what I'm like when I play these games. It's not. We won't be friends anymore. Were you an Invoker player? I was a Tinker player.
Well,
sorry.
Yeah, I mean, Sunday is blacklisted, and Mr. Girl's not DK, so I don't know how else to read that.
They'll see that you're the psychopathic side of you.
Yeah, basically. So it's like I was very aware of like that it was like not good, like not a healthy thing, but it was like whatever. But then I don't know, once you start, I feel like it's just, yeah, once you start to like work hard at something, you see other people like working hard at something, you see other people's time is valuable. I don't know, just sort of the drive to do that completely evaporated.
Because you felt like you were wasting people's time.
Because wasting other people's time, and it was just like it wasn't moving me in a positive direction at all. Like it was like fun and funny, but it was like, yeah, I don't know. It'd be the same as like smoking weed and just watching a movie. It's like that's just not. It's not a good use of your time. The funny thing was when I got older, I ended up going back and playing Dota and climbing back up to like the near the top ranks again, and in a completely non-toxic way, like the complete opposite way, like playing support, being very like calm in chat, and just like guys, we can do it. We're gonna get this, and people will be like, kill yourself, and I'm like, I understand you're mad, but you know I'm coming.
Yeah, I don't get
so.
it. Like, it's not a good use of time. Like, yeah, no. Like, hobbies usually aren't a, like, quote-unquote, good use of time. You're not doing anything really productive. Like, you do it because it's fun. You do it because it uses time, and you enjoy the time you spend doing it.
Ready to vanish. Good times. It was all super fun.
Are you still a psychopath?
Also, I don't get why he said smoke weed and watch a movie. Like, is watching a movie not stoned less of a waste of time? I don't really understand the thinking there. I don't really get why he made that distinction. Because, like, surely you're still spending the 90 minutes to 2 hours watching a movie. That doesn't really make whatever.
No, I'd say I'm much more like emotional. I'd say at least like in this like realm, I'm probably more emotionally considerate than almost anybody I interact with. I feel like I'm more emotionally considerate than most of the people I interact with. Which makes he was asking for a tweet. There's a couple people in my life who are like, bro, Why do you act normal and then you do shit like this?
What's your answer?
It's funny, and also I just think I don't know. It's funny. I feel like I'm not trying to cause harm there, and then as soon as I realize I'm causing harm, I'm like, oh, hold on, I'll delete that.
Jstlk going to the Destiny School of I'm actually very emotionally intelligent. I'm actually one of the most caring, sociable people I know. The thing about me is I'm just totally honest. I'm like an open book.
Probably, if I had to guess, like I'm reflecting. I haven't reflected on it very much. It's something like,
if I'm having sex with a girl, she knows that it's happening in 3 business days, whether she likes it or not.
Yeah, it's the miscalculation. It's like I expect. It's probably because I have good relationships with a lot of the women I talk to often, and they would give me the charity of being like, okay, I'll actually listen to you, and then I put the message out, and it's like, oh, when women aren't giving me that, I call it charity, whatever it is, benefit of the doubt. Oh, they're just calling me a rapist now. Oh, whoops, my bad. I'll pull back. That's not what I'm going for. Not the vibes.
One thing you learned about me is I'm actually really fucking cool and fun to be around.
Your
That's the main
position
thing.
our disagreement about
Everyone
this
says
is
this about
definitely
me.
a more psychopathic position, I think.
Yeah?
I think so. I mean, I'm saying I think that people should be
No, I
protected
agree
from...
with you.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I was agreeing
Yeah,
with
I'm
you.
saying that I think people should be protected from the psychopathic behavior of strangers, and that the amount of damage you can do in 5 seconds before you hit the mute button is not worth it. You know, as I'm sure we're both very pro free speech, but not in games. I'm not really.
Okay. I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where it's like I'm not sure that this has a tremendous societal effect either way. But I still and again, it might just be because of how I used to play games and how I really enjoyed that time, and I look back on it like I can identify that the behavior was psychotic, but like I still remember having a ton of fun, and like I don't think back on those things as like, but maybe it is psychotic where I'm like not thinking back on like, oh, did I actually really disturb somebody? Yeah, I haven't thought about it that much. I just think it's like, I don't know, the culture just felt like something that was special and unique, and maybe I'm just looking at it with rose tinted glasses, possibly.
Well, it looks like you're looking at it through a slightly conflicted lens, because you're saying, I mean, like, you're calling it your own behavior psychopathic, but you're also like reminiscing about the good old days.
Yeah. I mean, I'm calling it borderline psychopathic, which is probably kind of a poor hedge. 1 second, I have my headphones dying here. You're alone for like 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
I'll talk to
30
chat.
seconds.
Shaylin can't block, ignore, or mute her man screaming at her. The old...
Okay, I'm back.
I see. The old false equivalency. You can't control how other people act, and constantly being a victim is worse.
I don't know if it carries on much past it. I think we might be about
Max.
until we maybe listen to call-ins tomorrow.
Okay, so you guys are saying that it's infantilizing, it's treating people like children to moderate anything, to moderate game chats. Well, first of all, a lot of people in the chat actually literally are children. Like, right, Valorant doesn't have like an age cutoff, so there could be an 11-year-old girl, just to pick a random age, in the game who hears him saying that, right? He's not just saying that to one woman, he's potentially saying it to a lot of women. And literal children. So, yeah, if there's going to be children allowed to play the game, then we should probably treat the people playing it like children. I think that's fine.
All right. Yeah, I don't know.
But my main objection to your position is the sexism. The definition of games as male spaces.
Yeah,
And
I do
framing of
feel
women as invaders.
I don't think it's games. I think it's the competitive games where there's the trash talk element and there are like things other than the games.
But you're like exactly what I'm talking about. My post was about men who are not in touch with their feelings, who inflict damage on themselves.
I seem like I'm not in touch with my feelings?
Yes.
Okay.
Who, at least in your story, for sure.
Yeah, in the story, I agree.
Yes, you currently seem like you're not in touch with your feelings, if that's what you're asking me.
Yeah, that was what I was asking.
Yes, that is my impression. Men who inflict and incur damage, and then when people start talking about feelings, like women, are like, you're ruining everything. Let us torture each other in peace. And I mean, maybe the debate's over, but I just don't buy your explanation that it somehow makes the game better or more competitive. I think enraging or triggering basketball players before they play basketball will make them play worse. I think it just detracts from the game itself. It's an entire other thing layered on top of the game. If your 11-year-old little cousin says, "Hey, I started playing Call of Duty," the first thing you're going to think of is not about the game. You're going to think about the men that she's going to talk to. And
I wonder
how you want to protect her from that.
How do you think it would go? I'm curious because I actually don't know. It's an interesting thought experiment. If you could opt into either, if Call of Duty came with two multiplayers, one where you can put your driver's license in, you do like KYC, and they know who you are, and another one where you're allowed to be anonymous. Which one do you think would be more popular?
The anonymous one.
I don't know.
But for women, the women would all be in the non-anonymous one.
But I wonder if that would drive men to put their driver's license in, and then how that would change things.
Because they want to play with women?
I think, well, yeah, I think men probably want to just hear a woman's voice. I think that would drive a lot of people over. Huh. Women would self-dox. I mean, it would be to a KYC service, like a know your customer service that wouldn't be like necessarily attached to the game. The anonymous one would turn it into a cesspool, but I would say you'd still manage it as if it were like a current game, right? You'd still try to cut those things down. If someone's just spamming slurs, you try to get them banned and like shift it out. But it would be a different kind, just a different standard.
Women stay muted for a reason in a lot of online spaces. Yeah, because of this shit. I'm a white knight when I play games. If there's a woman in the lobby, I don't really talk to strangers in games anymore because of the toxicity. I just don't like it, and I play with my friends. But when I did play with strangers, when I first started getting into online gaming, I would rush to just set an example of just talking to her like she's a normal person, and if you do that aggressively, it makes the other people look weird if they start being like, "Oh, give me a sandwich." Then you're like, "No, you look stupid. You're like a fucking child. What are you, retarded?"
Yeah,
and then
I agree with that strategy.
They tend to not do
that. Usually, but usually comes off really bad, I think.
Man, I think it's just because I've been like a weirdo my whole life, and I'm always getting excluded.
It usually does not go that smoothly.
Whatever. Called out, dogpiled. When I see it happening to somebody else, I hate it.
Yeah.
Max just sounds like a pussy, honestly. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Spruce Willis, chill, man, chill. I sent you a DM. Do you want to check it out real quick?
Me?
Yeah.
It's a racial slur.
It is. I'm trying to tilt you in the game.
I should go. I gotta go have dinner with my
Oh, okay, there. That's where they cut off for call-ins. Okay, so we're gonna stop it there. And then we'll come back to this tomorrow. I'm linking their Twitters in the chat. Guys, make sure you go and support both of them. Because obviously, you know. They need all the help they can get from people on YouTube, I think. As much as I can direct them over, I will. As much as I can direct people over. Obviously, as much as Jstlk's doing pretty well, I think he's probably not happy about the fact that, you know, he's basically confined to relying on DGG at the moment and can't get growth, natural growth, which fucking blows. I missed the girls turbo nuked. Everyone abandoned Jstlk. No, that's not true. I still got on Jstlk.